It was so hard. There was so many demons going in my head, and I wanted to give up on life so many times because I couldn't stand who I was. I hated me.
Kia ora, I'm Melie and welcome to the third series of Treading Water, where I speak to a range of different people about their mental health journeys. Today, I'm speaking with Motu. What was life like for you growing up?
Oh, the young Mia growing up as a kid was rough, rugged and ruthless. That's how it was for me. You know, I lived off the land. I definitely loved being out in the nature, in the beach, and just really enjoying family time. It made me the person I am today too. I was really in tune to my Whakapapa back home in Te Rarawa. It was my marae, and Pukiporo was the hometown. And I knew my ancestors, I knew my language. I was grateful that I learnt that through being on a marae.
And then when you were young, you moved to Auckland. How did you find that?
I struggled. I was very angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry at my parents for pulling me away from somewhere that I loved, I enjoyed. And I didn't quite understand why we left home. I felt like I was losing my inner being and on who I was. And so I parted from that, being brought up in Auckland.
What got you into boxing?
At the start, as a young kid, my mum got me into boxing to get me fit. I did not want to be a professional boxer. I was bloody scared. I was very fearful at that time because my mental health wasn't great. And so my coach Isaac dragged me along and forced me to do professional boxing. And I thought, what does he see in me that would make me be the next world champion? Like, honestly, I am terrible. And that's how I viewed myself, and that's how I valued myself. I didn't see any goodness in me. I thought he was delusional. I literally thought he was delusional. I thought he was just saying things to make me feel good, but he actually saw potential. So for him to believe in me was shocking. I didn't want to believe it. So I kind of tried to push, I kept pushing it away. And what made it even worse was because I didn't trust males. Because I had my dad walk out on, he left my mum at such a young age. And my dad was my best friend. So losing that was I felt like my heart had gone. I was 17 when I met my first boyfriend. I thought I was on cloud 9. That was the best way to put it. Because he made me feel loved, and I was seeking for that male attention. So I just felt great. And I was like, wow, I haven't felt like this since I was back home. At the end of the year, I literally found out I was pregnant. I didn't know how to take it. I was brought up in faith, and my mum was a strong believer in faith. So you're gonna get married, you don't have a choice, you laid in bed, you made a commitment. And I was like, don't I have a say? And she was just like, no. I lost communication with my mum. I was really silenced. So I had to learn that. I had to learn about life through my boyfriend, who I eventually found out was, he come from a gang family. And that's when it all changed for me. I went from a loving, kind family, and I distanced myself from that, and I ended up falling into my partner's family and understanding and learning their life and their cycle. And I started falling for that because no one taught me about adulthood. And so I only knew how to live adulthood in the gang life. And that's what became my new normal.
Did it suddenly happen when the abuse started, or was it a build-up?
It started off with mental abuse and slowly breaking me down. I didn't understand it, but it was slowly breaking me, and that I was losing confidence, and then also stripping me away from my family and saying that my family are the demons. So when I was mentally getting abused first, I thought that was okay. And then the hitting came, the physical. And I was shocked because I've never had it in my family. So it hit me and I froze. I didn't know what to do. I was like, is this okay? They hit you because they're trying to make sure that you're okay and teach you a lesson.
Are you scared?
I was always scared. I lived in fear for so long. I literally wished that he would just beat me to death and I would never wake up. That's how I felt every day. And I would look at myself in the mirror and I'd be disgusted at who I am. I didn't even know who I was. And that was the damage that was doing inside. There was more damage inside than there was outside. I was actually killing myself. I was killing my inner being, and I had no hope. The only hope that I had was my children. It was my kids that were keeping me alive. It took me 8 years to find a way out, but my way out was my daughter. She would have been 7, and she showed the biggest strength and the biggest courage that I still can't comprehend today. And I still don't understand where she gets that strength. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be the woman I am today. She is my rock, my daughter, but she gave her life up to rescue me. She didn't want to see me die. And so she stood in front of a knife and tried to kill herself to save me. And that was the hardest. And seeing my daughter do that for me, it showed me what courage was. I learned that day that my daughter was willing to give her life up for her mum. And I was like, if my daughter is strong enough to take on him and have no fear and rescue him, why can't I stand for her? Why can't I give that same courage she just gave me? And that day changed my whole mentality, and I took him on. And I didn't care how bad I got beaten. I didn't care whatever threat they threw at me. I was not giving up. I was fighting, and I would do everything in my power to make sure I get him. And I did. I got him in jail, and it was a relief once I did. And I continued to keep fighting. And so that's when I was like, I'm going to use my voice, and I'm not going to let them silence me, because that's what they did for 8 years.
What would you tell someone today in an abusive relationship?
Have a voice. Show courage. You are strong enough, but have a voice and speak. Honestly, don't leave that burden on yourself. There are people out there that will help you, and you do have a family, you do have a tribe that will support you and back you. But let everyone know that you're going through pain and struggle and that you're getting hurt. Don't live in that fear. It's okay to go through struggle. It's okay not to be okay. There's always hope, and there's always light at the end. It truly is. But have a voice, because once you are heard, you are heard.
Do you still live in fear today?
Today? No, I don't live in fear today. That changed from 3 years ago when I walked into beach boxing. That changed 3 years ago. That's when I started finding who I was. I started not just using my voice, but sharing my journey and what I had been through.
Why do you think boxing's helped your mental health?
It's taught me how to stay calm, how to control my anger, and to lash my anger out in the right way, which is on the bag and in boxing and training. So expressing myself, I get to be who I am in boxing.
How important is hope when you're struggling?
Hope is the key. It literally is for me. Hope, if you hold on to hope, it gives you strength, because it gets you there. Because if you hold on to that hope, that's the light. The hope is the light. I look into the mirror today, I love me. I love looking at me. I'm proud of who I am. When I look into the mirror, I know my identity. I've got so much to give, and there's plenty more. I've only just started. And I look into the mirror, I see no limits. I don't title myself. There's no limit, and I'm gonna keep going. Yes, I'm proud of where I am as a fighter, but I'm more proud of where I'm going. I want to change the narrative, and I'll change the narrative even if I change one person. That's changing the world.